Ever feel like the whole system is just broken? Like you're running as fast as you can, but you're not getting anywhere? Well, let's dive into a pretty radical new idea for how we run things that's been making some waves. It's called the Open Council Manifesto, and it's basically proposing a complete reset for the modern world. Right out of the gate, the manifesto hits you with this. And it just lands, doesn't it? It's a validation of that nagging feeling a lot of us have, that things aren't quite right, and maybe, just maybe, it's not our fault. It sets the stage for a major rethink. So why do we even need a reset? Well, this first part really gets into the heart of the problem. It asks a pretty simple question. Are we trying to solve today's incredibly complex problems with tools and systems from the 18th century?
It all starts with those everyday pressures, right? The constant feeling of being squeezed, as the bills just keep on coming.
And at the same time, our public services feel like they're stretched to the breaking point. Trying to get a doctor's appointment can feel like you're booking a flight to the moon.
And here's where the manifesto points the finger. It argues our whole system of government is just out of date. We live in this incredible age of instant information, of AI, but our decision-making is still slow, it happens behind closed doors, and let's be honest, it often feels totally ineffective. Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question. If the current model isn't working, what on earth could actually replace it?
And this is where we get to the core proposal. The idea is to move away from what the manifesto calls the political circus and towards a smarter, more expert-driven model it calls a collaborative brain.
And wow, the difference it's proposing is just night and day. On the left, you've got the circus, politicians, big money donors, backroom deals, and a whole lot of spin. And on the right, you have the brain. Here, it's about real experts who are accountable to us through public endorsements. The debates are live-streamed, and decisions are based on data and logic, not political games. So this council isn't about replacing one group of rulers with another. It's a rotating panel of actual experts, doctors, engineers, scientists, farmers. The whole system is designed to completely cut out the influence of lobbyists and donors and to make decisions in weeks, not years. But, and this is crucial, the final say still belongs to the public. You vote on the final proposals. It even has this fascinating idea called proxy power. If you're too busy on an issue, you can delegate your vote to an expert or someone you trust to vote for you.
Okay. It sounds pretty interesting in theory, but how would it actually work day in and day out? Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
All right, selecting the council doesn't involve political campaigns. It's all about merit. First, experts nominate the best people in their own fields. Then that shortlist goes to you, the public, and you endorse the people you trust. The system also automatically balances for representation to make sure it actually looks like the country. And finally, people serve rotating terms, and they only get to stay if the public keeps endorsing their work. And the day-to-day workflow is just as direct. It all starts with you submitting and voting on the issues that matter to you through an app. That sets the agenda. Then, the experts debate those issues live, on camera, using real data. A neutral team then whips up a simple 60-second summary so everyone's on the same page. And then, the most important part, you, the public, make the final decision with a secure vote. Now, I know what you're thinking. A system like this, it raises massive questions about trust and security, right? How do you stop it from being corrupted or hacked? Well, the manifesto actually dedicates a huge chunk to tackling those exact concerns. One of the biggest ideas for building trust in the money side of things is this: ring-fenced budgets. It's so simple. When the public votes to give a certain amount of money to healthcare, that money can only be spent on healthcare, period. No more secretly moving funds around to pay for some other department's pet project. This whole idea is a direct response to the absolute fortunes that are wasted every year through corruption and just plain inefficiency. And to make you feel the weight of that number, the manifesto puts it in perspective. That wasted money, it's enough to potentially wipe out student debt entirely, or to literally double the number of nurses in the country. So on the tech side, trust is built on what it calls a blockchain backbone. Now, don't let the jargon intimidate you. All it means in this context is total transparency. It's like a public, unchangeable receipt for every single government action that anyone, anywhere can audit whenever they want. Of course, building this for an entire nation is a monumental challenge. You have to think about scale, energy use, and making sure everyone has access. But the manifesto presents it as the ultimate goal for a trustworthy system. The system also proposes multiple layers of security to make it as fraud-proof as possible. You'd have a super secure digital ID for voting. To stop corporations from swooping in, council members would be banned from paid work in related fields for 5 years after they leave. And to keep everyone on their toes, there would be huge cash bounties for whistleblowers and mandatory independent audits.
Now, it's really important to get that the authors aren't pitching this as some kind of perfect, magical utopia. Not at all. In fact, their final call to action is surprisingly practical and down to earth.
They're crystal clear that this is not about some massive, chaotic revolution that changes everything overnight.
Instead, the pitch is this: start local. Test the model in one city, on one simple problem, like fixing potholes. If it's faster, cheaper, and better, then you can scale it up. If it's a total flop, well, you scrap it. It's an evidence-based approach to fixing government.
So the manifesto leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question. It frames the choice not as some scary leap into the dark, but as a decision between sticking with a show that many of us feel is failing or being willing to at least try something new. It asks, are we content to keep watching the same political show on repeat, or is it finally time to change the channel?